Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sometimes crocheting, but always all of the yarny goodness that I love. It has been a few weeks since I've recorded a regular podcast, and I just don't know where the month of May has gone. But I am coming to you from my home in Nebraska. Today is Tuesday, May 21st. This is episode 96. We're getting so close to episode 100. A big hello to all returning viewers and subscribers. And if you're new, thank you so much for checking this channel out. And I hope you enjoy some of my crafty adventures. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel. So we've got lots to talk about today, so we will get into it. From the thumbnail, you saw that I have a big finished object today, and I am so excited to have this completed. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to show this to you, but this is the Coziest Memory blanket, or my Cozy Memories blanket. Let's see if I can back up a little bit, and I'll just kind of take it and kind of do this. I'm covering my face, but that's okay because you'd probably like to see the beautiful blanket. So this is my blanket, and I am so excited. This pattern is the Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray. Best I can remember, I didn't have Ravelry, or I didn't post projects in Ravelry, but best I can remember was that I started this in 2016 or 17. I started, let's see, with this corner down here. So this was my very first one. And when I was going back and looking at some of my previous ones, or, you know, early squares, these squares right here, these were sock yarns, baby sock yarns, I think by Opal or Reg, I think Opal or Regia, that I knit a pair of baby socks for my nephew Josh, who is 7.5. So the blanket has been going for quite a while. This has been a long-standing whip, which hasn't gotten a whole lot of love until this year. Each year, you know, probably around New Year's time, I would kind of revisit it and think, you know, I really should try to put some love into it, do the 30 minutes a day. But this year, I have my Make 9 whip board, so bringing several existing whips into 2024, and this was one of them on there, and I'm so happy to have completed it. So I picked this up again in March of this year, and I knit 42 squares of this in March. I knit 43 squares in April, so a total of 85 squares was put in 2 months time. And the blanket is 14 squares wide by 17 squares long, for a total of 238 squares. So 85 of those squares were put in 2024, and that is 0.35% of the blanket. So a third of the blanket to complete it in 2024, but I am so happy to have it done. So squares in March and April, and then I had said that I wanted to put the I-cord border on. That would be my project for May, and I was hopeful, you know, that I would be able to complete it in May. It definitely is time consuming, and I did take 1 week off in May where I wasn't working on the I-cord border because I was traveling, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in chatter time. But I finished this I-cord border last night, and I'm going to put some footage, or yesterday afternoon, I guess, and I'm going to put a little bit of footage in here. Jeff filmed me. He said, oh, we got to take a little bit of the final touches. So I'll put a little video, a couple pictures, and then you will see a picture of the blanket in its entirety, because I think it is really hard to stand up and share this because I'm backed against this, and I don't have a whole lot of room here. But I really love this project. I confess I kind of cried a little bit yesterday. I was just so excited to have this done. So the I-cord border, I used the tutorial by Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, to do the I-cord border. It's not hard to understand, but sometimes it's hard to get in those stitches. I know she had suggested when you're making your squares to slip the first and maybe the last stitch, which I had already started this blanket before that video, or before I believe she filmed that, so I just kept going with it. So some spots were a little tricky to get my needle through, and I think it did slow down the process a little bit, but I have bordered the whole thing. The yarn that I bordered this with, let me see. I had 3 skeins of this. I had no idea how much I would use, but really very silly. The yarn that I used is this skein of yarn. This is by Stress Knits in the Accidental Gemini colorway, and I used approximately 25 grams for the border. That is it. I have 75.3 grams left of this cake, and I did not weigh the cake before I started, which I should have done. In hindsight, I should have done that. So, you know, if it was 100 or it was slightly over, I don't know, but approximately 25 grams were used for this border. So you certainly don't need, I certainly did not need 3 full skeins of this. And probably some of you laughed your heads off when I had said, I have these 3 skeins. I don't know how long the border or how much the border is gonna take. So I have this left. I have 2 full skeins left. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use this held double with another full skein to make a pair of cable DK socks at some point. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So we will see what that becomes, but 25 grams of this for the border. And I think that is all I would like to say, but I am really, really happy to have it done. Unfortunately, it has gotten pretty warm here in Nebraska and humid, so I probably will not be using it too much unless I get a little chilly in the air conditioning, like downstairs. Or upstairs seems to be pretty warm, but downstairs in the basement, and actually where I'm filming is downstairs, so a little cooler down here. But that is my big finished object of today, big finished object of 2024. So very, very happy with this blanket. I have 2 half objects to share with you today. The first is, let's see, this is the Pumpkin Patch Cabin Sock by This Yellow Farmhouse, and I started it, I'm thinking late April. So this is the first one done. So I wanted to do a cable sock. I was just kind of craving cables. This is knit in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the burdock heather. Not exactly sure how to say that. It's a really purple, pretty dusty purpley color. I really think I would like to have a sweater in this color sometime. We will see. But I have the first one done of this, and you'll be seeing when we go into works in progress what I have done on the second sock. So that is the first of my half objects. Then the second of my half objects is my Lake Michigan sock. That's what I'm calling it, Lake Michigan sock. This is a pattern by Dawn Frisky. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It was designed only using a 72 stitch count, but I was pretty sure that was going to be too big. But it is a 12 stitch repeat for the pattern. So I reduced the count down to 60. I went up a needle size to 1.5 instead of the recommended one, just because I knew there were knit two togethers, there were SSKs, there were yarn overs. I think maybe I'm saying the same thing. But I knew that would be, I've done a sock before where I had yarn overs and some of those things, and it definitely was a little snug. So I thought 1.5. So I did the leg according to pattern, and then I adjusted it a little bit for the foot. I had to take out a couple stitches for the foot, but it did not do anything, I don't think, to the overall pattern. It was hard to work those repeats when you have different areas where you have the yarn overs and everything. So it's kind of adapted. I've adapted it. It fits really, really well. I was really excited to complete this sock. I had said earlier that I wanted to make some more tonal socks to have in my sock drawer. So I think this fits the bill. It's tonal, and it still has a lot of visual interest because of the patterning on there. And I was knitting on this while on my trip to Michigan, so that was kind of fun and appropriate. And I did get to see Lake Michigan while there, so so I'm really enjoying that, and really happy to have the first sock done. So that leads us into whips of these socks for starters. I'm a little tangled here. Let's see. This is living in this bag that I made many years ago with this fun fabric. And this is how much I have completed of the sock. So this is a worsted weight sock. It is very warm and snuggly. I'm actually making this one for a Christmas gift this year, so it will not be for me. I do have a pair, the same pattern, in a green. Maybe it's here. Yes, it is. So I have already made this pattern last year in a green, which that is in my size, and this is just a slightly smaller size. But I'm really far. It goes pretty fast. It really does go pretty fast because it's worsted weight. But you do have some cabling too, so that takes a little bit of time. But through the decreases, just working down the foot, and I imagine this will be finished pretty quickly. So I'm excited about the progress on that. Now the other sock is a fingering weight sock, the Lake Michigan sock, and this is all I have done. Is I don't think I even have 20 rounds yet for the cuff. I'm very, very close. And this is appropriately in my Michigan bag, and that little heart in the Michigan sign is approximately where I grew up in Grand Haven or Spring Lake, Michigan. So I really like this bag. I pull it out every summer, I think. It was by Specialty Sewing on Etsy. I don't believe she has a shop anymore, but I could be wrong. But a fun bag, jean pocket or jean backing to it. So just that much done of the cuff. So I will get cracking on this. I do have my knitting group at the library today, and I will be taking this one along, which is a little iffy just because it's a patterned sock, but I can probably keep track. I will hope I can keep track of that, because I really would like to get some more work done on that sock. So on my vacation, I took those two socks, and then I had cast on a new project and got quite a bit done on this, because it's just stockinette in the round, and it's been scrunched in my bag for a little while. But this is the Fiddly Bits cowl by Jana Pahota, And I had seen another podcaster, and Brenda, I think that was that you were working on one for a little while. Brenda of the Night Owl Fibers podcast. I think she had started one. I don't know if she's still working on that. And I just thought that looked so fun. I have so much leftovers of sock yarns, of mini skein sock yarns, you know, advent yarns. And so I thought it would be really fun to do this. I made a magic knot ball, which may not be the best thing for an accessory. So it is a little challenging to make sure the knot goes on the inside. And I'm actually putting a little bit of a fray check glue or a fabric glue on each dot as I go. I just turn it inside out and do that. So I need to do that again I believe for this part. But I absolutely love this. This is so much fun, and it's just knitting stockinette. And aren't those colors just so fun? And I'm in this bright neon section now. I should have weighed this, or I know I weighed this and then I forgot to write it down, but I wanted to say it was approximately 117 grams of fingering weight yarn. And so I don't know if it will be big enough, or if this is going to be enough. I don't know if I want just one loop or if I want it long enough where I can double loop it. So you start with a provisional cast on, so that when you get around the whole circumference, you will go back and graft the two ends together. So I have plenty of fingering weight yarn still, plenty that I can continue on should I find that, you know, this is not enough for the size that I want. But I just can't say enough about this project. This is just so much fun. You could just do so much with it. You could do just, you know, a completely self-striping one with all your self-striping yarn leftovers. Self-patterning ones from Opal yarns or Regia yarns would be so much fun. I absolutely love this. So this also is a free pattern on Ravelry, and yeah, I'm having super fun with this. So this project and the other two projects, the sock projects, are all off of my Make 9 boards for this year. So I'm really excited to be working on these projects. So that is all that I have been working on for, that is in this bag. That cowl is in this fun bag by, let's see, Heidi West. I think it's Heidi West, and I got this on Etsy. This is a really nice sturdy bag, and definitely could just be a purse too. It's actually a really cute spring purse. So I am enjoying all of my projects so very much. I was very happy to get that I-cord edging done though, because that took, and I don't know how many hours, many hours, but it was many evenings over the course of May, with 1 week not, but it was many evenings of doing it. So yesterday I was so close. I told my husband Jeff, I'm doing it. I'm just gonna do it today. I just want to sit down. I think I had about 7 more squares to border with it, and I thought I'm just hunkering down. So that was during the day that I did that yesterday. But so those are the projects that I have been working on. Couple things to talk about. This coming weekend is Memorial Day here in the States, and the last year, maybe 2 years, I have held an informal Hat KAL or Mal in the Ravelry group, and so I'm going to do that again this year. And I know this is really late notice, but I will be opening one thread in the Ravelry group So if you would like to join in, pick a hat or 2 or 3, Leslie, you know I'm talking to you, to make over the course of Memorial Day weekend. So it will start Friday and go through Monday. I am not really sure about what hat, although I think I am, at this point, I'm going to cast on a very simple bulky weight hat. Yeah, if you've been with me for a little while and we talked about the one hat that I did not succeed at and just decided to put that away, like, okay, maybe I just need, you know, something simple right now. So I believe I am going to cast on a bulky weight hat. And I had a pattern picked out and I don't remember what it is, but I will pop it in the show notes. But I have this skein of yarn that has been caked up for many years. This is a bulky weight and it is by Maker's Haven, hand dyed in North Carolina. And it's in the autumn gold colorway and it's 106 yards. And you can see it's a very much a variegated yarn. So I think just a simple stockinette hat is going to be the best use for this highly variegated yarn. I guess I'll say was such a fan of Maker's Haven yarn. I absolutely loved everything she came out with. I do have some yarn still in my stash, some sock sets. Amber also wrote books, wrote a series of books that I thought were just magical and wonderful. So I can't say enough good things about that, but I would really like to use this yarn. So I think that would be a fun thing and an easy thing and a quick hat for over this holiday weekend. So just a very informal knit along. I was talking in the chat, the general chatter thread on Ravelry with a couple of people who are planning to participate, my good old faithful friends. So if you'd like to join, that would be great. I hope to get this podcast posted either today or tomorrow, depending on how much editing I have to do and how long it takes to upload. But I'd love to have you join in. And if you have any hat recommendations, you know, a pattern you absolutely love for a hat, I would love that if you would drop that in the comments down below. One of your favorite hat patterns. That would be great. And it doesn't matter what weight of yarn. I would just love to have some hat inspiration from you all. All right. So you know, this year that I am on a low buy year. I am trying to work from my stash. If you've been following along from the beginning of this year, maybe you remember I have acquired one skein of yarn, and that is a skein of yarn that I won from Amy of Noble Character Crafts as part of my participation in her Make 9 2024 mal. Well, I do have some stash enhancement to share with you today. I know, and in my notes I have stash enhancement. Okay. So I was on vacation in Michigan over Mother's Day. I wanted to spend Mother's Day with my mom, and Jeff, being the sweet husband that he is, he wanted to treat me to yarn at a yarn store that I had never been to. And so Jeff bought the yarn. So I went to a yarn store in Holland, Michigan, which is about a half hour from where my parents live. And it's called Garenhuis, and that is Dutch for yarn house. It was a beautiful little store. I did just a very little video. I wasn't super comfortable doing that, but a little video of the store. It was beautiful. There was a lot of beautiful, tempting yarn. Just seeing all of, especially the Madeline Tosh and Malabrigo, just seeing so much of that and so many different colors. That was just, it was just amazing. So, but I wanted something, a little unique to, to the store, and I had picked out a pattern, and now I'm out of practice. I did not write down the pattern that I wanted to show you, but I'm going to write the pattern. So I went into the store with a plan. When this pattern came out, I saw it and I really was intrigued by it. So I thought, I'm going to look for yarn for that pattern. So I want to say it's by Tiff Nealon. I hope I'm right, but again, I will put the pattern down here. So it is a DK weight little shawlette, and here is what I got. So this is a very unique color. This is by Dream and Color yarn. Dream and Color yarn, classy. It is a worsted. It does say worsted weight, and it has 250 yards, so a very generous worsted, or I'm sure you could go with it as a DK weight too. But this yarn was dyed specifically for the store for the Holland Festival, which was going on while we were there. And it's called Petals and Petals. So there was a poster of bikes and flowers. So petals, like bike petals, and petals, like flower petals. So Holland is known for their, their big tulip festival. So this color is maybe a little surprising for me, but I saw this knit up in a sweater. It was a child's sweater, and it was so very, very pretty. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use this. And then I got a skein of Barocco Vintage DK, just color 2102, so kind of a natural color. And then that pattern calls for mohair, so I'm going to pair it with this mohair. This is a Surrey Stratus, so 68% Surrey alpaca, 32% nylon, and let's see, there is 274 yards, and I believe this was $8. So I thought this was really reasonable for a really soft, beautiful, fluffy yarn to go with this. So this will be that together with this. So we will see when it becomes that shawl. I probably will start it in June, but I thought that was really, really so sweet of Jeff to want to buy me yarn for Mother's Day. He is so surprised with how good I've done this year with using stash, but I thought that was really sweet. And it actually was really a very nice thing because I hadn't done it in so long. It was just such a pleasant trip to go in there and pick something special with a very specific project in mind. So that was really nice. Then I got these beautiful stitch markers. They are by Pearl Smith, and it's Freshwater Pearls, Mother of Pearls, and Sea Glass. And I'm going to put a picture in because I don't know how well you will be able to see that. And I just thought that was lovely. So I have, a very lovely reminder of, my Michigan trip, my Mother's Day, and just a lovely time. So that was really sweet. So stash enhancement, you will not see too much, hopefully, maybe not, I don't know, this year, but that is stash enhancement. All right, just a little bit of chatter now, if you want to stick around to hear what I have been up to. In May, at the beginning of May, we were just finishing up with school. I had 2 piano recitals. I played for church services 2 weekends in a row, and those were 3 church services each weekend, so that was really busy. We went to Michigan just for a short trip there. And we drove during some really bad weather. So we take I-80 through Iowa, and that was fine. And then getting into Illinois partway was fine. But then around the, when it gets into the busier area, Chicago, and then into Indiana, the weather started getting really bad. So it was torrential rain, which we could hardly see through. So we decided to pull off, you know, and hopefully wait out the rain a little bit just so it would lessen. As we were pulling off the freeway at an exit, it started hailing really very strongly, which made visibility even worse. But somehow we made it to a gas station half mile down the road, little ways, and you know, it was crazy. There were cars just parked, you know, haphazardly at this gas station. You know, so many cars had tried to pull, you know, under by the pumps where you have a little bit of protection with that, you know, that covering, but we did not get there soon enough. So we did get a little bit of hail damage on Jeff's car. Mostly no dings, no visible dings or, you know, dimples, but paint damage. But, you know, I was just thankful it didn't crack a window. You know, it was coming down pretty forcefully. So that lessened, the hail stopped. It was still raining, but not as bad. So we got back on the highway. And then, you know, the sky was just, it just looked so eerie. And I'm smiling now because we're through this. But we're driving through, it's still raining. And then we get, our phones are both just, you know, high-pitched siren, tornado warning, tornado has been spotted in the area, take cover immediately. And, you know, we're surrounded by cars going down the highway in the same predicament we are. We have no idea what to do. So we just keep going. It stops a little further down the road. That siren goes off again on our phones. You know, I didn't know it did that on our phones, you know, and that was, I mean, it was good that we knew exactly what was going on, but it's also scary when Jeff was trying to drive and that high-pitched siren is going off. So it went off twice for us. We went to an overpass and hung out. Other cars were there. You know, I've heard maybe it's not the best idea to do that. And then we realized we were pretty close to the Michigan Welcome Center. So we actually got back on the highway and went just a little further, and we hung out at the Michigan Welcome Center until the bad weather had passed. And there were a lot of people doing the same thing. And it ended up that there was a tornado that did go through Michigan. So I think we were kind of just following it for a while, but then we luckily stopped at that Welcome Center. So it was a very stressful trip to Michigan, but we had much fun while we were there. Took lots of walks, a couple along the boardwalk, just seeing Lake Michigan and the lighthouse, and that was fun. I got to see family, my sister, one of my brothers, two nieces that I hadn't seen in years. We had so much fun with them, ate lots of good food, too much food, played lots of Ticket to Ride, which is one of my very favorite games. So it was a very nice trip and a very uneventful time on our drive back to Nebraska. When we got back, or I should say prior to that trip even, I had the piano recitals, the church services. We also took a day, cleaned our sailboat. The next day we took a day and launched it. So many things went wrong, but that's okay. It's in the water now. It's working. It's all good. But that was prior to the trip. So we were pretty worn out coming back. And then we came back, and then it was time to move Jenna out of her dorm. So that took a good portion of one day, moving her out. And then we had some unexpected company come to town, which was wonderful, but things were a little hectic. And I think things are finally settling down now. I am hopeful. It is wonderful to have Jenna at home for the summer. She had a great first year. She went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, so she had a great first year. So little bit, or maybe a lot of bit of chatter. Thanks for listening if you stayed that long. Knitting goals for the end of May. I kind of have just been doing monthly goals. So my goal is to finish both pairs of socks. I am really hopeful that I can do it. It's the 21st today, so I think I can finish. I know for sure I can finish the cable socks, worsted weight socks, but I'm very hopeful that I can finish the Lake Michigan sock. I would like to make a hat for the Memorial Day hat knit along. And so those are my goals. The cowl, the Fiddly Bits cowl, that can be an ongoing project for a while, but it's not going to linger forever. I will not have that linger forever. One of my goals for this summer is to organize my Ravelry favorites. I had started to do it in bundles and then just kind of stopped, but I think I have, and I probably have added more since I looked at this yesterday, but I have 1,723 favorites. Who can knit all that or crochet all that? I can't. So, you know, it's like window shopping on Ravelry. You go and you see favorites, like, I'm going to heart that, I'm going to save it. But I have so many pages of favorites. So it would be a good idea to go through those, and it's going to take some time. Delete some that no longer interest me, bundle them, you know, according to like hats, shawls, sweaters, and maybe crochet or knitting, dishcloths, house accessories, toys, whatever. It would be a really good idea to do that. So I'm going to try to work on that this summer. I would really like to do that. And just one more thing to talk about. I will be hosting our annual Christmas in July make-along. That will start on July 1st and go through August 31st. This will probably be the third year, I think, for doing that. I think so. So it is, just wanted to let you know that that's coming up. I know other people host Christmas in July make-alongs. So if you want to double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip in all of those other make-alongs, that would be great. But the idea is just to, you know, get started on maybe your Christmas gift making, knitting, crocheting, or whatever it could be. So whatever crafty thing you are going to do, it doesn't have to be a gift for something. It could be something for yourself. It could be something using Christmas or winter themed yarn. So I will have more details in our Ravelry group as it gets closer. Okay, but we have made it to the end of our episode. Sorry if this has been a little all over the place. But I'm really happy that I got to sit down with you guys today and share what I have been working on and share my Cozy Memories blanket. I would love to hear what you are working on. Are you getting excited for summer sock camp? I know that starts this week, so I am thinking about some summer things I might want to do sock-wise. But I'm going to finish my other sock whips first. Do you have summer projects that you have that you're thinking about, you know, a summer sweater or anything? I would love to hear what your summer plans are as we're heading into those warmer months. At least we are here in Nebraska. So yeah, my thoughts are definitely in summer right now. So I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And I look forward to talking with you again sometime soon. Take care. Bye-bye.